Welcome. It's another wonderful day for so many things, including Bhagavad Gita Sadhana, to learn more about yourself and your way of being in the world. It's also day 2 of a 9-night festival called Navaratri, celebrating the divine feminine. Today's color, today's colors, we could say. I find this interesting today of all days. The major color for Navaratri is green, which I'm surrounded by here. And these are green beads. I have a green shirt, but it's a long sleeve shirt, and that wouldn't stay with the consistency of my practice. So instead, I have a red shirt on because today is also a day associated with Ma Kali. Um, Kali can be seen as the feminine version of the word time. And we may have a paradoxical relationship with time. Time heals all wounds, but we're at the mercy of time and aging. Sometimes time goes fast when we don't want it to, and sometimes it drags on when we really wish it would get it going. And red and green are considered complementary colors. In our society, green means go and red often means stop. So here we see some of the opposites contained within the complementary. And also, another aspect of Ma Kali that we can relate to these colors is she's often shown in a very fearsome aspect. She's said to like cremation grounds, and she has a really long tongue that she sticks out. She has a necklace of skulls. She symbolizes the fierce, protective mother energy. She's the energy of the mama bear when you get between her and her cub, right? She's that energy. That fierce protection is a positive reaction to fear. Fear can stop us in our tracks, or it can motivate us. Stop or go. I'm finding that interesting today just to contemplate. And also in regards to Bhagavad Gita. So it may or may not fascinate you to know that in the Mahabharata, the major male characters of Bhagavad Gita pay a lot of respect to the divine feminine and credit the divine feminine with many of their victories in life. We're going to be verse 1038 today, which I thought would be interesting in conjunction with the idea of Ma, which means Mother Kali. This is Krishna as he continues to try to describe himself in words to his best friend Arjun. And as many of us know, words are often not the best form of trying to describe ourselves. Often our actions can speak louder than our words. And Arjun's hung around Krishna a very long time, but he hasn't seen the depths of this good friend yet. Now, Krishna is listing some of his qualities, and we're just going to do the first 2 lines of verse 38 in chapter 10. Krishna says to Arjun, I am the rod of enforcers, the statesmanship of candidates. Stop there. Fun during an election cycle here in the States to hear this. I can be statesmanship, or I can be the rod. The word in Sanskrit is danda, which is like a stick or a staff. He can be the stick, or he can be, the more pleasant, diplomatic version whenever it comes to a conflict. And I see this a lot in the mother energy that we're honoring in this 9 days as well. If you think of your mother, there are times when the mother energy can have a sweetness to it. And everybody's mother is different. So the amount of sweetness to rod, the stick, could be varied greatly from person to person. And ideally, the mother knows how to balance the being sweet, but also with the stick. I'm not talking about beating somebody, but the motivator, the the force, the sometimes the raised voice, the setting of boundaries and saying, no, you cannot do this. No, where statesmanship is about, getting to yes. There's a tricky balance that we often see in mothering, but also in our lives. When do we pull out the stick and get a little fierce? And when are we diplomatic and show tenderness? It's a huge aspect of living our lives in many spiritual texts. And I'm thinking of the New Testament and Jesus the Christ, who said, opt for the tenderness, opt for the tenderness. And then I think of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is saying, sometimes you need that rod. And what's fascinating is, as I think I've mentioned before, in the Indian subcontinent, Krishna is equated with Christ. And people will say that Christ spent some of the missing years from his life, that the years recounted in the Bible, in India. So I invite you to find this in yourself. We'll start with our pose. And I see the stick in me. It's like, it's cold and the grass is wet and there are pricker weeds in the grass, yet I am going to make myself do this. But also I'm going to be gentle in that when I take the form of the pose, I'm going to take it in a way that serves and doesn't hurt my body. Oh, note if you can find this balance in a balance pose. Switch. Yay. Now we come back for our contemplation. I invite you to spend this time reflecting on, do you bring a balance of this sweetness, this tenderness, and this strength to your life? And how you relate to others, do you tend to default one way or the other? And especially with how you deal with yourself. Are you really self-critical and always beating yourself up? Are you too indulgent? Finding the balance in this particular opposite is really important in this world and a sign of spiritual growth. 5 minutes. Welcome back from that contemplation. I hope it was useful. It helps you guide whatever comes next in your life. Today's practice is dedicated to Debbie D, who I find the embodiment of this ideal. She can wield the stick and the love with equal skill. If you know her, I think you probably know what I mean. And if you don't know her personally, try to find your own Debbie D in your life. And I'll look forward to the next time we can connect. Until then. Oh, remember, that could be tonight with Navaratri. If you want the link right below, you can still join us for live events. Link has all the details. And if it's past Navaratri, it's got details for other events. Okay, now, really, I'm gone. Bye.